You can see on the house you've got these purlins, long beams that run the length of the house, sticking out in the eaves. So basically what I meant to do is copy that on the shop. And you can kind of see, don't mean to mansplain everything, but just so you know, we know those are what's called a glulam. They're basically laminated 2x6s. You can kind of see, you know, how many different 2x6 there are. That's what I propose using here because they are straight and they're square and they're plumb and they're level, and a whole lot less work to deal with. But the dimensional stability is what I'm really looking for, because the logs are dry. I mean, they're pretty much, unless they really start to rot bad, the logs have shrunk as much as they're going to shrink. So if I use cut timbers, even the driest stuff I could get of a real timber cut's going to be 27 to 30% moisture, and once it's enclosed inside, it could dry out even more. Depends on how you keep the humidity in the house, but they aren't going to be as dimensionally as stable as the logs are attached to, and that can kind of cause problems as the new work starts to settle. So you don't have that problem with the second issue, not issue, but you want to cut out all these trusses. You can see up there the top stringer along each truss is only 2x6. And that doesn't get you much insulation. About the only, I think you get an R23 and insulation of that thickness. That's not much for a roof around here. You could go with spray-in urethane, which provides a real nice airtight insulation, a little more R value, but it's really, really pricey. What can be done is once the rest of the trusses are cut out, is actually take like 2x12s. I actually use TGI, and just sister those up next to the 2x6s, so it gives you a foot of space to put insulation in. Depends on how much you care and how much gas you're going to spend. So if you look up there close to the top of the truss, you see there's some cross ties there. I recommend leaving those in. If not in, we still need something, because in the back here you've got that stick wall. And what happens with the roof is, as the roof angle bears down on the outside wall, it has a tendency to spread the walls outward. So I really feel more comfortable structurally if somewhere, this is 24 feet something from the front of the building to that wall, is have an intermediate truss made out of the same TGI, you know, like a wood beam looking truss that has work. It would land right about here. There's the door, there's the window. It'd land right about in here somewhere at 12 feet to split this distance. And that is, it also helps reduce the size of the purlin that you need, but it also provides a cross tie halfway down the wall to keep the walls from spreading, especially since you've got, you know, fairly large window openings there. I don't want what we do to start pushing outward on the log walls and making a mess. Plus, I think it looks kind of attractive. It can do what's called a cathedral truss. So you wouldn't have one big, you can see the level that the 2x6 rafter part of the trusses, rather than having a big beam go all the way across at that level, you can come out a little ways, go up, go across, and back down. I'll draw something up for you so you get a good idea. But that would be the process, is to, there'd be a center purlin in the middle, on the ridge, and then there'd be one here, one there, and then the outside wall. So outside wall, one purlin, purlin number 2, ridge purlin, and then repeat on the other side. And the way I'd probably do that is make the location on the 2 end walls, and just using the laser to line everything up, cut the holes, build the necessary supports into this wall. This opening would probably have to move one way or the other, because one of those purlins, well, it'd be close, but that first purlin is going to be somewhere around in here where the electrical box is, and we just have to see where it actually lands, because there'll have to be multiple supports under that. But what I'd probably do is, you know, order, what is it, 24 and a half, 13, 45-foot glue lambs, and break them above this wall and then rejoin, and that way I can cut the hole in the end in the log gable up here to fit the purlin, and then sneak one in through this way. Do the same thing on the other end, sneak that in through this way, and then rejoin them above this wall where I've got a good place where I can attach it to. That just save a whole lot. Trying to thread that thing through all three walls and get it lined up perfectly would be kind of tough. More labor than it's worth. And that's kind of about it. What we probably do is take some of these truss pieces that we cut out, and right above this wall, just go ahead and build in a truss and then just finish up. Or you could build a second timbered truss, stick it over. That's kind of pricey. Just depends on how you want it to look. I can always, if you want that look, you can always finish this wall and then build a fake truss on the outside of it. That's real easy to do because there's not really any structural joinery in it. So those are some of the options. Plumbing, like I said, it pretty much depends on how you want to lay things out. I mean, in my mind, I was seeing in this area back here, kitchen with a walk-through, you know, a little dining area over here on the other side of the wall. You can put an opening in there. A little dining area over here. Since this, you know, bedroom space being at a premium, I'd probably recommend, since your electrical box is here, build this wall out, make this a mechanical area, hot water heater, stuff like that. And then a bathroom in this area, a little half bath, or you can, you know, put a shower bath, whatever you want to put in there. There's room in here for a full tub shower and whatnot if you want to, but that would bring. We're going to move this wall over here and that'll close this opening down to about 4 feet, which is still a lot. You know, then kitchen area back here. Walk out. You can leave that door where it is. Walk out onto the deck. I really, really want to use these doors for something. These things are gorgeous. So, your choice, of course, but they're just really cool. Wow, what else? Yeah, finishing the front of the building. And again, I'll draw something up for you. But what I had in mind was, you know, if I just take the garage doors out and piece this in with logs, you're just going to see all those joints. Even if I put pretty closely colored filler in it, when you drive up, you're going to see square sectional logs. What you could do is fill these areas in with you know, like you put a big window here and the main door is over there. You can fill in around them with stone. There's different ways you can do to kind of make the transition between log to filler area more attractive and less of an afterthought, but it's something to talk about. What else? Really need to think about that project for now. You know, a lot of this is going to depend on, you know, like internal finishes. Concrete floors suck to walk on and to live on. And if you want to do wood floors in here, you're going to have to fur up the floor anyway to have something. You just can't shoot wood floor to concrete. But it's cold, it's nasty. You know, I'd fur it up with 2x4s, insulate that space, or maybe do some in-floor heating with it. And just have the step up and just, you know, eat that stuff up. It won't be hard to move this door up, you know, 3.5 inches. So that would be my recommendation. Wood floors just aren't much fun. The wood floors back here, I mean, they're fine. They're a bit bouncy. Just depends on how you feel about that. Oh man, it's hard to find nails, but I'd have to get in the room downstairs to see how far apart the floor joists are, but 6 and 1/2 dozen the other. There is a lot of space in between these, but that can be filled and sanded. I wouldn't bother replacing them. If you did, I'd just leave these down and leave these where they are, sand them, rough sand them so they're good and flat, and then just come the other way with wood floor at 90 degrees angles to what you have here. Because you do have kind of this, where they're nailed through the face kind of thing that's ugly. Or go with an artificial floor over the top of this like you were talking about in the house, that Cali stuff. You could do that too. Which is good because that stuff's dimensionally stable. If you came back in here with pine or something, eventually you're going to have shrinkage problems unless you keep the house at about 70% humidity. Oh yes, gaps. You can see right up there, just straight up from there. You can see daylight through there. There's daylight over there. There's daylight everywhere. These logs weren't well fit and spiked. In some places, I can't see any evidence that they put any of the standard poly fillers in between these logs. You know, probably because it was just going to be a garage. Depending on how you lay things out, a lot of this electrical just needs to go. There's just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And, you know, if this is a workspace, you know, where you're doing a lot of stuff, you know, you need a lot of detail light. But for a kitchen area, you know, it's just too much. So, you know, and same thing out here. You know, a lot of these boxes, you know, it's just way too much. And it can be reclaimed, but it's going to be taken apart, the wire can be pulled out. Conduits, you know, a lot of them have to be cut anyway because those pieces of the trusses are coming out. So you're going to rip it. You got to rip out most of it anyway. Just about every light box in here is going to have to be ripped out. So it's just the way she is. When I was talking about cross-connecting the two walls so they don't spread, I just saw this cable in here, and that's exactly what it's doing. It's keeping the tops of those walls. So that's kind of unattractive. So again, you know, my recommendation is what I would do is go up from the floor to the top of the wall with a squared beam, and that would be cut into the wall a few inches, and seriously fasten those logs with some industrial screws, and then there would be a square timbered truss that I'd build to sit on top of that. And that would hit the bottom of the purlins, and then the purlins support the parts of the trusses that we leave in there. So, and I'll draw all that up, different detailed drawings for you. And that's about internet speeds around here. It's going to probably take an hour and a half to upload just this bit, but that's a starter conversation on that. Real quickly on the stonework, I think you know what most of the problems are. This wall down here, this whole slope right here, it just drains like crazy. You know, it's pushed all this sandy stuff in every time it rains. It's really soft, and it's no kind of a place that's gonna deck supports and stuff like that for the decking you have in mind, getting a solid footing under that stuff. And that's what's happened to this corner down here and the outboard edge of that. It's just so soft in here that over the years, as the house and everything settled, it just broke off the cement. That, and there's probably not a real footing under that slab anyway, so it was just dumb construction guy shit. This right here, that joint in the wall is almost perfectly in line with the wall of the house. And if I had my druthers, that's where I'd put the new cement wall. I'd just come straight across with it and get this filled in. French drain as it's installed, because this water is always going to come down in here. But what I'm talking about, and I'll make a drawing of this too, is down under here along the bottom of the wall where the water's going to collect is basically loose round 3-inch round rock with perforated pipe under it, and the ends of those pipes should come out past the end of the wall, you know, somewhere well out in the yard where it's not going to compromise the foundation, and then an outlet put in so they can drain out, because there's no way to stop that water coming down that hill. It's going to come. So you've got to find a way to keep it away from foundation elements, both on the house and anything else that you do. So that's my thought on that. And I think that's enough for now.